During a quiet moment, she said, "If I'm being honest, I always hoped to end up with someone else." I just smiled and said nothing. Next morning, I packed her things. Lease was in my name. She came home to boxes and a note. "Now you can." Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. And if you have your own story to share, send it to me. My contact info is in the description below. I'd love to feature it in an upcoming video. Thanks. Hey Reddit, long-time lurker, first-time poster. Throwaway for obvious reasons. Mutual friends might recognize this mess. I'm 34 and this all went down about a year ago, but it's still fresh enough that I need to vent and maybe get some perspective. Let me start from the beginning. I met Sarah, 32F, 5 years ago at a mutual friend's barbecue in our mid-sized city. She was this vibrant, creative type, working freelance in graphic design, always talking about her big dreams of starting her own studio. I was the steady one, with a solid job in software development. Nothing flashy, but it paid well and gave me flexibility. From the jump, I was all in. She moved into my apartment after 6 months because her place was a dump, and honestly, I loved having her around. The lease was in my name since I'd been there for years, and it just made sense. Over time, I bent over backward for her. She had student loans piling up, so I covered most of the rent and bills to give her breathing room. When she hit a rough patch 2 years in, lost a big client, spiraled into self-doubt, I was her rock. I'd come home from long days coding, make dinner, listen to her vent for hours. I even turned down a promotion that would have meant relocating because she wasn't ready to uproot her network. "We'll build this life together," I'd say, and I meant it. I pictured marriage, kids, the whole package. Little things, like surprising her with art supplies or planning weekend getaways to inspire her work, became our routine. She always said I was her safe harbor, and I took pride in that. But looking back, there were cracks I ignored. She'd make offhand comments about guys at her co-working space. "Oh, Jake's so adventurous. He just got back from backpacking in Europe." Jake was this colleague, mid-30s, always posting about his thrill-seeking life on social media. I'd brush it off as harmless, but it planted seeds of doubt. Still, I stayed loyal. No flirting on my end, no late nights out without her. I was committed through and through. Then came the night everything shattered. It was a quiet Thursday evening, about 8 months ago. We'd had a low-key dinner, pasta I cooked, and were lounging on the couch watching some mindless show. Out of nowhere, during a commercial break, she turns to me with this thoughtful look and says, "Hey, can we talk?" If I'm being honest, I always hoped to end up with someone else. I froze. The room felt like it tilted. "What do you mean?" I asked, keeping my voice even, though my heart was pounding. She sighed, like it was no big deal, and leaned back. "Don't get me wrong, you're amazing. Stable, kind, all that. But growing up, I imagined my life with someone more exciting. Someone who pushes boundaries, like Jake from work. He's got this energy, you know? Travels spontaneously, takes risks. I've been feeling like maybe I've settled, and it's not fair to either of us." Her words hit like a slap, but she said them so casually, almost smug, like she was doing me a favor by being honest. I could see the dismissal in her eyes, like I was a reliable car she'd outgrown, ready to trade in for a sports model. No tears, no hesitation. Just this entitled vibe, as if her dreams trumped the life we'd built. I didn't yell or beg. My mind raced. All those sacrifices, the late nights supporting her, the future I'd envisioned. But outwardly, I just smiled faintly and said, "Interesting." That's it. No more words. She looked at me expectantly, like she wanted a fight or reassurance, but I changed the channel and pretended to watch the show. Inside, though, it burned. Why wasn't I enough? Had I been a placeholder all along? The confusion gnawed at me as we went to bed in silence. She tried to cuddle, but I rolled away, staring at the ceiling until dawn. That night, I barely slept. Flashes of our relationship played in my head. The time I skipped a guy's trip to help her with a deadline, or when I loaned her money for a new laptop without a second thought. I'd given so much, and for what? To be told I was never her endgame? The unfairness settled in like a fog, thick and suffocating. But by morning, something shifted. Clarity, maybe, or just self-preservation. I realized I didn't want to fight for someone who saw me as second best. So, while she was out at a coffee meeting, I started packing. Not dramatically, just methodically. Her clothes, books, art stuff, all into boxes from the storage closet. I left the shared things, like furniture I'd bought, but anything distinctly hers went in. By noon, the living room had neat stacks by the door. I wrote a simple note. Now you can. Taped it to the top box. No anger, no explanations. Just finality. She came home around lunch, arms full of takeout bags, probably thinking we'd talk it out. The door swung open, and she stopped dead. "What the hell is this?" she demanded, dropping the bags. I was sitting at the kitchen table, sipping coffee, calm as could be. "Your things," I said evenly. "The lease is in my name, so I'll handle the paperwork to remove you. You can crash with friends or wherever until you sort it out." Her face twisted, a mix of shock and smugness fading into something sharper. "Are you serious? Over one conversation? You're just going to kick me out like this?" "It's not kicking you out," I replied, not raising my voice. "You said you hope for someone else. I'm giving you the space to find that. No hard feelings." She laughed, but it was bitter, dismissive. "Oh, please. You've always been so predictable. This is why I feel this way. No passion, no fight." Jake would have handled this differently, with real emotion. There it was again, the comparison, thrown like a dagger. But I didn't bite. Maybe he would. But I'm me, and this is how I handle it. "I'll help load your car if you want." She paced, justifying herself. "Look, I didn't mean it like that. You've been great, safe, reliable. But life's too short for good enough. I stayed because it was comfortable, but I owe it to myself to chase what I really want. You should too. This could be a wake-up call for you too." "I don't know, live a little." Her logic was twisted, making it sound like her betrayal was a gift. "I appreciate the honesty," I said, still composed. "But I've lived plenty. And now, so can you." She huffed, called me cold, but started grabbing boxes anyway. "You'll regret this. When I'm happy with someone who actually excites me, don't come crawling back." Smug to the end, she loaded up and left, tires screeching like some dramatic exit. I locked the door behind her, and the silence hit. No confrontation, no tears from me. Just a hollow ache. But also relief. For the first time, I saw how much I'd been carrying the relationship alone. The confusion lingered. Why say that after all we'd shared? But I let it sit, breathing through the unfairness without lashing out. That first week after she left was rough. I didn't chase her, didn't text or call. Instead, I detached. Changed the locks that same day. Practical, not petty. Blocked her on everything temporarily, just to give myself space. The apartment felt empty. Echoes of her laughter bouncing off the walls I'd painted with her input. I'd sit on the couch where she'd dropped her bomb, replaying it all. The confusion was the worst. How could someone you'd poured your soul into see you as temporary? I'd sacrifice promotions, friends' events, even hobbies, all to make us work. And for what? To be emotionally discarded like yesterday's news. But I didn't wallow. I channeled it into action, quietly. Started hitting the gym again, something I'd let slide to spend more time with her. Reconnected with old buddies. Turns out, a few had seen red flags in how she treated me, but stayed quiet. One night over beers, my friend Mike said, "Dude, she always acted like you were lucky to have her." Good riddance. It stung, but it helped. I threw myself into work too, finally accepting that promotion I'd turned down before. It meant longer hours, but also a fat raise and a fresh start. No emotional outbursts, no revenge plots. Just me, rebuilding in silence. The unfairness lingered, though. I'd wake up some mornings with that hollow ache, wondering if I'd ever been more than a backup. But I let it breathe, journaled about it, went for runs to clear my head. Slowly, the fog lifted. I realized her betrayal said more about her than me. I wasn't the problem. Her inability to appreciate loyalty was. By month 2, I was sleeping better, laughing more. Detachment became my armor. I even started dating casually, nothing serious, but it reminded me I was desirable. Life without her drama? Surprisingly peaceful. It took about 3 months for the cracks to show in her shiny new life. From what I pieced together later, mutual friends spilling tea, her vague social media posts, she'd jumped straight into things with Jake. Moved in with him quick, posting pics of their adventures, weekend hikes, spontaneous road trips. Subtle digs at her boring past, which I knew were aimed at me. But here's where it unraveled, and damn, it was poetic. Jake, turns out, was all flash, no substance. Unstable as hell. He'd charmed her with stories of his globetrotting, but neglected to mention his gambling habit or the string of exes he'd burned through. First, he got fired from their shared co-working gig. Something about misconduct, harassing a co-worker. Sarah tried to spin it as corporate politics, but word spread fast in their creative circle. Mutual friends started distancing themselves when the truth came out. Jake had used her connections to land freelance gigs, then ghosted clients, tanking her reputation by association. Then the big blow. He discarded her just like she'd discarded me. After a blowout fight over money. She'd been covering his bills. Ironic, huh? He kicked her out. Left her scrambling for a sublet, broke from bailing him out. She ended up crashing on a friend's couch, her freelance work drying up because no one wanted the drama. Online, her posts shifted from smug adventures to cryptic pleas. Sometimes the grass isn't greener, with sad emojis. Backlash hit. Commenters calling her out for how she'd treated me, since the story had leaked through the grapevine. She became isolated, her once vibrant social life crumbling. Friends who'd cheered her upgrade now saw her as flaky, unreliable. I didn't gloat. Heard it all secondhand, stayed out of it. But inside, satisfying as hell. Her choices boomeranged, hard. She'd chased excitement, ended up with chaos. Meanwhile, I was thriving, new job title, savings growing, even adopted a dog for company. The reversal felt earned, like the universe balancing the scales after I'd sat with the betrayal's weight. Fast forward another couple of months, around 5 months post-breakup. I'd heard whispers of her downfall, but kept my distance. Life was good on my end. Promotion kicking in, new routine solid. Even started seeing someone casually, a woman named Emily from my gym. Nothing serious yet, but she was kind, grounded, the opposite of Sarah's chaos. I was finally feeling like myself again, no longer confused or weighed down by the betrayal. That's when Sarah started reaching out. It began subtly. A text one evening. Hey, it's me. Can we talk? I miss our talks. I read it, felt a flicker of that old ache, but deleted it without replying. Detachment was my rule now. A few days later, another. I know I hurt you, but Jake was a mistake. He turned out to be controlling, unstable. Kicked me out last week. I'm on a friend's couch. It's humiliating. Still, silence from me. I wasn't interested in her sob story, but she ramped it up. Calls started coming in, voicemails at first, her voice shaky. Alex, please pick up. I see now how good we had it. You were always there for me, and I threw it away for some fantasy. Let's meet for coffee. I just need closure. Closure? That was rich, coming from someone who dropped her bomb without a second thought. I blocked her number after the third voicemail. But she wasn't done. She switched to email. Why are you being so cold? I thought you cared about me. Jake used me. Borrowed money I can't pay back. Isolated me from everyone. My freelance gigs are gone because of the drama he caused. I'm broke, Alex. Remember how you helped me through tough times? I need that now. Her pleas were laced with hypocrisy, acting like I owed her support after she'd dismissed me as settled. But I stayed firm, no response. That's when she pulled in the reinforcements. Her friends, the same ones who'd liked her adventure posts, started messaging me on social media. One, her bestie Lisa, DM'd, "Dude, Sarah's a mess. You're really gonna ignore her after everything? That's low." She made one mistake, cut her some slack. Toxic as hell, like I was the villain for protecting my peace. Then her family got involved. Her sister, who I'd met a handful of times and never vibed with, called from an unknown number. Alex, this is Megan. Sarah's told us what happened. You're being heartless. She was honest with you, and now you're punishing her? Family sticks together. You were basically family. At least hear her out. Unpleasant didn't cover it. Entitled, pushy, like her betrayal was a minor blip. I hung up mid-sentence and blocked that too. But Sarah escalated. She showed up at my apartment one night, banging on the door. I peeked through the peephole. She looked disheveled, eyes red. Alex, I know you're in there. Open up. This isn't you. You're not cruel. I didn't open it. Called building security instead, who escorted her out. The next day, more texts from a new number. How dare you sick security on me? I thought we could be adults about this. Fine, be that way. You're showing your true colors. Boring and spineless, just like I said. There it was, the anger bubbling up after her pleas fell flat. Desperation turning to rage, revealing the same smug disrespect from that quiet night. You'll end up alone, she fired off in another message. No one wants a guy who ghosts like a coward. Her attempts peaked with a final in-person ambush at my favorite coffee shop. She must have stalked my routine. I was grabbing a latte when she cornered me. Alex, stop ignoring me. Her voice cracked, but there was an edge. I admit it, I was wrong. Jake's abusive, left me with nothing. My friends ditched me when the truth came out. I see now you were the real deal. Please, let's try again. I'll make it up to you. She grabbed my arm, eyes pleading turning frantic. I have nowhere else to go. Don't make me beg. I pulled away gently, kept my cool. But inside, it was clear. Her true colors shone through in the desperation. No genuine remorse, just self-preservation. I walked out without a word, but that wasn't the end, not yet. The attempts fizzled after that coffee shop run-in, or so I thought. A month later, 7 months total since the split, I got invited to a mutual friend's wedding. Small affair, but Sarah was on the guest list too, from before everything blew up. I debated skipping, but why should I? I'd moved on. This was my life now. Emily and I had gotten more serious. She was coming as my +1. Stable job, new apartment on the horizon, dog thriving. I was in a good place, emotionally free from the confusion that once haunted me. The wedding was at a cozy venue outside the city, garden set up with twinkling lights. I arrived with Emily, mingling easily. Then I spotted Sarah across the lawn, alone, dress a bit wrinkled, nursing a drink. She looked smaller somehow, the smugness gone, replaced by something hollow. Our eyes met, and she beelined over. Alex, she started, voice low but urgent. I didn't expect to see you here. With her, she glanced at Emily, who was chatting nearby, then back to me. Can we talk? Privately. I nodded once, stepping aside, not for her, but to end this cleanly. No scene at a wedding. She launched in. Seeing you like this, it hurts. I messed up big time. Jake was a nightmare, controlling, cheated on me too. I'm starting over, but it's hard. I realize now you were my safe harbor, like I always said. We can fix this. I'll change. No more comparisons, no chasing excitement. Please, give us another shot. I see how good you look, how happy. That's what I want back. Her words dripped with hypocrisy, echoing her old justifications, but flipped. She reached for my hand, desperate. Don't throw away what we had. I was stupid, but I'm better now. I looked at her steadily, feeling nothing but indifference. No sympathy, no lingering care. She'd become irrelevant, a chapter closed. Calmly, I mirrored her logic back. You said you always hoped for someone else, someone exciting. Now you have that freedom. Like you told me, life's too short for good enough. Her face crumpled. But that was a mistake. You're better than him. Seeing you with her, it makes me realize what I lost. Exactly, I said firmly, focusing on my growth. I've upgraded my life. New job, new horizons, someone who values what I bring without comparisons. You're not part of that anymore, haven't been for a while. She teared up, anger flashing again. So that's it. You're just done? After I poured my heart out. I shrugged lightly, the reversal complete. You poured it out that quiet night too. This is me preserving my peace. Good luck, Sarah, truly. But we're over. I walked back to Emily, who squeezed my hand. Sarah slunk away, alone amid the celebrations. Later, friends told me she left early, humiliated. No more texts, no more ambushes. She'd seen the power flip, me thriving, her desperate. Final update. It's been a few months since the wedding. Emily and I are official now. Life's upgraded in every way. Sarah? Faded into irrelevance. Lesson learned. Don't beg for scraps when you deserve the feast. Thanks for reading, Reddit. Your comments help me process. If you're in a similar spot, walk away with dignity. It pays off. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.